Hi there. So it's time to run some trains again. Sometimes you just want to do it for a little bit of fun. And it's another opportunity to figure out sometimes you make a railway for just having some fun and whatever works for you. So sometimes you just want to have a little fun. And this is one example of where model railroads, you have to make some compromises. In the scale that I'm working in, my compromise is the size of the locomotives versus how much space I actually have. Because if I were to have tracks the length of to match my scale to go across North America, I'm working in S gauge 3/16, or sometimes called the 13/64. It would mean that my railroad would have to be, well, about 33 miles long. A standard 1 mile siding would have to be about 82 feet in length. Well, that's not going to happen. So, time to put a train together. Now, this is my version of a Jubilee locomotive because it's full of compromises. And the matching coach set that I made for the locomotive with four couplers. Also is full of compromises. When it comes to model trains, it's about your imagination and what you can do. You don't have to be an expert when you begin. All you have to do is be willing to give it a try and enjoy your results. This picture is just full of stuff that virtually anyone with a will can do. In the foreground, you have a truss bridge that I built from scratch. Behind that, the second bridge that the locomotive is resting on is actually a lino. They both look equally good, at least by my standards. In the back, you have a third bridge. Again, one that I constructed. The octagonal water tower is something that I constructed. from scratch. The locomotive, that was actually a American Flyer Atlantic locomotive. Being young and having a broken locomotive and having an affection towards the Jubilee locomotive that looked rather smashing, at one time accidentally broke the speed limit on the railway as well as the speed record for a train at the time. So it was something of a novelty, so I thought I'd make it. But there are compromises. The locomotive still is using the American Flyer drivers, which are about 14 inches smaller than the 3001 had. The rods, they're still going to the rear wheel rather than the front wheel, which was the case on the locomotive of this number. And the boiler is not long enough, but it's a satisfactory rendition. Oh yeah, the locomotive has a Timco motor replacing the original American Flyer. Now, the coaches are quite the mixed bag. The two coaches of the set, well, they are American Flyer coaches that, as I understood it, were the same length of the originals. Not true. Not any better. I just filled in one of the windows, repainted, and lettered them. Next, I needed a diner car. So this is a bashed together one where if I recall correctly, it was a Flyer coach, and then I extended it, made impressions for a baggage door, and some roof detail and exhausts are added. Finally, the mail car, mail express car. This was strictly from scratch, taking from pictures and from an actual car in the yard. And this is an 80-foot coach. And it truly showed up the difference in the Flyer coaches, which they didn't match the 77-foot of the original. They should be at least 2 inches longer. But it's a compromise. I now have a train set. And like the original, it's a hot rod. When it goes. Now this is another example of what you can do. It's actually an accessory for an accessory. These are reproductions that I've made. They are not exact copies. Dimensionally, they match Plasticville, the Union Pacific, or Plasticville station. So it's an accessory for an accessory. And it's okay.